guys, so I thought it would be super fun to do a video on different trench coats given that it is trench coat season for a lot of us. So I thought I would go through the Nordstrom shopping page for trench coats and just talk through some of the body types that they could work for. But before I get into that, I want to talk about my recent blog post, the naming convention change, which thank you so much to everyone who has read that. And if you haven't read that, I'll link that down below. And thank you guys for leaving your feedback and thank you for your support. I am still going ahead with the name change, of course, but in this video, since I haven't finalized the exact names quite yet for the different body types that I'm going to use from here on out, I'm going to use the old names that we're used to, the Kibbe names, in this video. So you don't have to worry about that for this video, but I will have one coming up explaining the name change and sort of my process for it and things like that. So another thing I wanted to say is that I will have a video similar to this where I look through different items, and for that video it will be a video on lingerie, and that will be on Miriam Style Club. So if you're interested in that, you can follow the link below and see how you can join Miriam Style Club for some exclusive content. If you like this video, I also have a video on the channel on tops for the different body types where I look through different clothing items that I'll link below. And of course there's also a club video on dresses where I look through different dresses. It's in this type of format where I just look through the shopping page. And the reason why I don't use certain specific brands and I prefer to use department store shopping pages like Nordstrom, or if you guys have another department store you like, I can use that one, is because they tend to have a really big variety of items and they have a lot of items that I can look through and show you guys, and hopefully there will be something in here for everyone. So okay, without further ado, let's get started. So I'm looking at the Nordstrom shopping page, as I said, and this is what we have. So this first one I would say is mostly for flamboyant natural. I would say this one would really not work for basically any other body type. It would look pretty sloppy on any classic. It would look really pretty sloppy on any romantic and on any gamine. On flamboyant gamine, this could work if they actually style it just like this model is styling, with a color block and some pretty fitted pants and some chunky shoes. That would work for flamboyant gamine. But flamboyant gamine is the type that can really borrow all kinds of different lines and just put them together into a mishmash, and that is going to look really chic and really cool on them. But for other types, not so much. But I would say this is primarily flamboyant natural or pure natural. Soft natural might be a little bit overpowered by this, and it would be a little bit too heavy for soft natural. Okay, this one would work pretty well, I would say, again for flamboyant natural, or for maybe for soft natural as well, because it looks like it has some softer fabric in a way. It has a little bit more flow to it, and it has some waist definition as well. So for soft natural, you could sort of tie it loosely around the waist and that would look really, really nice. Or for pure natural or flamboyant natural without tying the belt for flamboyant natural, that would work. It could work for dramatic. You guys know that I would say that flamboyant natural lines work pretty well for dramatic sometimes, if it has some elements of some of those cleaner lines of dramatic as well. So this jacket, this trench coat, does have some cleaner lines to it as well as some draping, so I could see this working for dramatic. I could see this working for a natural of any kind depending on how it's styled, and I could also even see this working for a soft dramatic as well, you know, again with some waist emphasis. And make sure that when you put it on, if you're a soft dramatic or a natural or a dramatic, basically if you're any of these types that I'm talking about, that the fit of it is not too tight on you, because with these body types you do want for the fit to be a little bit looser. For naturals a bit more unconstructed, but for dramatics just slightly looser so that it's not fitting so tightly like it would for a gamine. So this is a pretty versatile trench coat, I would say. So this one I would say is primarily for a pure classic or for a soft classic, because you can see how it has these really clean lines, especially here you can see how it has these clean lines, and it's sort of, It's just very, very minimal in the lines that it has, and it doesn't have any sharp geometrics to it. It looks pretty symmetrical. It's not too tight, it's not too loose, so everything about it is in the middle. So I would say this is really, really good for a classic. It's also a moderate length, so it would be great on a classic. It would also work pretty well on a soft classic because it has some of that waist definition, but I would say primarily on a classic, this would work best. And yeah, and then if you wear it like this, it does look a little bit stiff here. Like if you wear it open like this, then maybe it's just the way the model is standing, but just keep that in mind. Maybe it's better to wear it a little bit more closed or partly closed or something like that, just to show the clean lines of the trench. Is that a trench? Oh yeah, it's called a trench coat. I don't know, I wouldn't call this a trench coat, but anyway, I don't think this would work for anyone. I thought about this for a while. I don't think this would really work for anyone. So I want to explain this a little bit because I'm being pretty mean to this jacket here, to this trench coat. So this is not fitted enough for a gamine. You can see that it doesn't have any sort of tailoring here. It's all kind of like these gathers are just here. So this kind of lack of tailoring is really not a good sign for any gamine, and it's not tailored enough for a gamine in general. And then we also have other options like classic. I feel like this neckline area for it is just way too busy on a classic. It has that hood attached to it. Maybe if you take the hood off, it could be good for a classic, but still the fabric of it looks kind of stiff in a way, but it's not necessarily crisp, and since it's not fitted, it wouldn't work for a gamine. It wouldn't work for a natural of any kind because it's not sort of unconstructed enough. It would not work for a dramatic because the lines are not long enough. So this is really something that is straight up not going to work for anyone. So if London Fog is listening, I really hope London Fog steps up their game because this is something that's just really not going to be that great for anyone. I mean, now that I look at it in black, maybe for a classic, but there are better options for soft classic and classic, I feel like. So maybe for a classic or soft classic, this would work without the hood. Definitely without the hood. With the hood, forget it for any kind of classic. It's just too much stuff going on there on the neckline. But without the hood, maybe for a classic or soft classic or dramatic classic. Okay, so how about this one? So maybe I changed my mind a little bit on this one. This would work relatively well on a dramatic classic, soft classic, or pure classic. But again, with the hood, it's because I saw it with the hood. I was very, very annoyed with the hood and all of that stuff there for a classic. But without the hood, again, for a classic or any kind of classic, that would work. Okay, this one. This one would be really good for a dramatic classic. You can see it has some clean lines there. It fits pretty well, and it has some geometrics there as well. And it would also be really good for a dramatic too, or for a soft dramatic. So it has a lot of different elements to it that would work for a lot of different types depending on how it's styled. So for soft dramatic, it has a bit of luxury to the texture, and it has some of those oversized shapes of the lapels, which would be really nice. And if you try it on and the fit of it is just slightly luxuriously oversized for a soft dramatic, that would be really nice. And the length of it also adds a little bit of that yang undercurrent, so that would be really nice for a soft dramatic. For dramatic classic, it also works because it has those clean lines, and it would just really look tailored but not overly tight, and it has a little bit of a longer line to it, so that would be really good for dramatic classic. So this one is kind of like, I feel like this one is actually the same. Oh yeah, it is the same. Yeah, so we already talked about this one. This is for, what did I say, like soft natural, dramatic, and any kind of natural, depending on how you do the waist emphasis. And this one would work potentially. I want to say it would work okay for a gamine because I like that these kinds of things on the shoulders, this detailing on the shoulders with the little buttons and stuff works really well because it creates a sort of sharpness around the shoulders that looks really nice if the jacket really fits well to you. So if you are a gamine of any kind, just look out for these little things. Those can look really nice. And also the contrasting buttons is another feature that would look good on a gamine, so that's pretty good. And what I would love for a gamine is if the sleeves of this were just slightly more fitted, more precision fitted for any kind of gamine. So this would work for soft gamine or pure gamine, and it could work for flamboyant gamine as well. So this is, again, I think we've already talked about something pretty similar. I would say this is, yeah, so this is the same thing. I would say this is for a classic or soft classic. Okay, I would say this is for dramatic. So this would look really good on a dramatic. Of course, it has those longer lines, it has the oversized geometric lapels, and it has that kind of a really sort of yang texture to it. So that would look really good on a dramatic. It could also work for a soft dramatic, but I would say if you're any other type, stay away from this. If you are a flamboyant gamine, it could work on you, because even something like this, but this is even longer, so I would even be careful with this if you are a flamboyant gamine too. I feel like this might be too long on flamboyant gamine, but paired with some really tight jeans and a tight top with a color block and wearing it open might work for a flamboyant gamine to create that mixture of lines in the outfit. Okay, this I would say could work pretty well as a casual trench coat for a classic or a soft classic. I really like the minimal design, and if you tie it that way with the belt being symmetrical as well, that would look really good on a classic of any kind really. On soft classic, I think it would be best. I think maybe for a dramatic classic, the fabric might be a little bit too lightweight, but for classic or soft classic, this would work really well. Okay, I would say this is primarily for flamboyant gamine. So you could wear this if you're a dramatic. It would look really, really intense on you. It would look really extremely fun on you because the lines of it are pretty clean, pretty stiff, pretty long, pretty geometric. So I would say for a dramatic, it could work, but because of the pattern, I would say it's more flamboyant gamine, and how this model is styling it as well, that would be more of a flamboyant gamine look, because she's wearing it with these very tight items underneath and wearing it open, and then that kind of oversized geometric pattern as well is really good for a flamboyant gamine. So I would say this is primarily flamboyant gamine, depending on how it's styled. So this one is another one that I just don't think would work for anyone. I mean, maybe flamboyant gamine, but there are better options for flamboyant gamine. I don't think this would really work that well for anyone. I really don't like this hood thing paired with just whatever this is. I don't know if this is completely common, but I just don't really like that, because it just messes with the lines. It makes the top of the jacket look pretty busy. It does look like it could work for flamboyant gamine, but it's too boring for flamboyant gamine. It doesn't have any contrasting buttons, it doesn't have anything to it, so you'd really have to work hard every day if you're a flamboyant gamine and you get this to style it. So that's why I'm saying, you know, if you're a flamboyant gamine, just forget about this. If you are a classic, it's a little bit too stiff. Maybe for a dramatic classic, this would work okay without the hood. So this is always the case. I think the hood I really don't like the hood for classics, but for if you take the hood off, if it is detachable, oh yeah, it's removable. It's a removable hood. So maybe for dramatic classic, this could work. But I would say this is better for dramatic classic because it has those longer lines. This is kind of short. So even though this would look okay on dramatic classic, I just think this would be better, so why not just get this then? Yeah, I mean, they're a similar, oh, they're not really a similar price, but they're kind of similar enough. I mean, it is a trench coat, so yeah. Okay, this one. This one would be really good for a dramatic classic without the hood. Yeah, like that. That would be really good for a dramatic classic. It has the symmetry, and the contrasting buttons add a little bit of sort of a touch of animation to the look without being over the top. So it would be really good for a dramatic classic. So this would be good for, I actually want to say that, and of course, you know, this kind of trench coat is a little bit more of a sort of athletic trench coat, if you will, or something that is not so dressed up. So, you know, this, keeping that in mind, I think this could work okay for a romantic, actually, because it has You see how the cuffs of it sort of have a little bit of a rounder shape as they go in. I don't know if that's just how it is on the model, but yeah, they look like they go in a tiny bit. And also this kind of thing at the waist where it has the gathers, if you can really pull that in tight enough to give you some waist definition, then that would work really well on you if you're a romantic. And then the shape of it, the shapes that it creates do look pretty rounded rather than angular for the most part, so this would work relatively well. And for theatrical romantic too, again, it's a casual coat or casual jacket, so just keep that in mind, but this could work pretty well if you're in the market for this kind of jacket and if you're a romantic or a theatrical romantic. I also like, you might consider, okay, why isn't this natural? It's still quite fitted, and it's going to, you can imagine if you get it in the right size, it's going to really sort of hug the curves of the body and define the body a little bit, even though it is more of a casual trench coat. I think this would work pretty well. Okay, this is pretty interesting. I do really like it. I think this would work pretty well for a... You see, it's kind of complicated because I want to say it would work well for a gamine, but the lines of it are so long that it does make me nervous to recommend that for a gamine because the lines are so long. But then on the other hand, if I say dramatic classic, then if you look at the cuffs would look a little bit sloppy on a dramatic classic. I would say I would still and the sleeves are almost like, or the shoulders are kind of almost a little bit of a puff sleeve. So I would say this would work equally well or equally poorly on either a dramatic classic or a gamine for different reasons. So on a dramatic classic, this would look really quite fun, and you could see if you can pull this off. I mean, I can see Nina Dobrev potentially wearing this, and on the other hand, if you're a gamine and you wear this, this could work for you, but it would just be so long on you. If you're in love with it, you could get it, but that long vertical line might just not work that well for you. So in summary, Tommy X Zendaya houndstooth trench coat. Tommy X Zendaya, okay? Please learn about the body types. I wish this was just either shorter or didn't have these little sleeves like that, and then it would work really well for body types. I'd be curious to know about their return rate on these trench coats, because some of these, I feel like this is something that you would really, really like and you might buy, and it's $400, which isn't nothing, and you wear it and it just feels off because maybe you're a dramatic classic or maybe you're a gamine, but either way it feels off and you end up returning it. So I'd be curious to know, Tommy X Zendaya, that what their returns are like on this trench coat. Okay, I would say this would be great for a soft natural or for a really, really casual soft dramatic. I really like the luxurious texture, but the luxurious texture can also, of course for soft dramatic that's really good, but the luxurious texture can also double for soft natural, sort of giving it a bit of a texture, so texture is generally good for soft naturals. So this could work for both. It would look really casual on a soft dramatic, and it would look really quite luxurious on a soft natural. So soft natural and soft dramatic can sometimes share certain clothing items because they both have those swirly lines. The difference between soft dramatic and soft natural is that soft dramatic lines are more defined curves, and they are slightly oversized, they are slightly luxurious, but soft natural lines are more unconstructed, very, very undefined swirls and curves. So that's why when they can sometimes share clothing items, but when they put them on, they will look different in those items. And of course you style it differently as a soft dramatic versus a soft natural too. Okay, so we still don't have, I don't believe we really have any options for some of the body types. I'm just gonna kind of go through these quickly and talk about, so this could work for flamboyant gamine because it has a bit of a boxy shape and some shorter lines. This could also work for flamboyant gamine relatively well because, you know, styled again like this with the tight clothing, it could create that mixture of opposites, and then it has the contrasting buttons, but it could potentially work pretty well on a dramatic too, with the sleeves rolled all the way down to create some more clean, long geometric lines. So this could work for dramatic. I don't know if I said soft dramatic, but I meant dramatic. This is also for flamboyant gamine. It has some of these contrasting types of effects. It has a bit of a boxy shape and it has some shorter lines. It'd be good for flamboyant gamine, especially styled just like this model is doing with some contrasting colors from top to bottom. That would look really good. This could work for the pattern is just so busy. I don't know. I don't think this would necessarily work that well for anyone. Again, it is kind of a weird situation. Maybe for a dramatic, but the pattern is really busy. But then for a flamboyant gamine, I do feel like the lines are quite long. Maybe you could do the same thing, like wear it open like this one, if you're a flamboyant gamine. And it has some contrasting buttons, so maybe flamboyant gamine could wear this open with some tight clothing underneath, so, and some chunky shoes. That would be pretty cool. So I would have to say flamboyant gamine. So this also maybe for a flamboyant gamine or a dramatic. I always say flamboyant gamine again, you guys, because flamboyant gamine can take items from all kinds of different body types and just put them together. So it doesn't always mean that it's a flamboyant gamine item, so to speak, and there aren't always even flamboyant gamine items. It's just how you style them. So that's why flamboyant gamine is such a special body type here. So, but this would work pretty well for a soft dramatic. Because it does look a bit more luxurious there. It's faux suede, so soft dramatic would look pretty good on this, and it has that strong sort of horizontal line. You could wear it with some waist emphasis as well, so you could tie the belt sort of like really tightly and have these exaggerated sort of curves, that type of look. If you wanted to, you could wear it just straight like this model is doing here. If you're a dramatic, I don't think that cheetah print is necessarily too distracting like some of the other prints, so that would be good for dramatic. So this would work for a very serious gamine. It would work for, basically it would work for a serious gamine or soft gamine. Because of the contrasting buttons, they add a little bit of interest, and I would say it's a little bit too stiff looking and too crisp looking for any kind of classic. Maybe for a dramatic classic it could work, but I feel like the lines aren't long enough, and I feel like there are better options for dramatic classic around here. So this one I would say would work really well for a gamine. I wish it had contrasting buttons, because I see that, again, you see this shoulder detailing that it has here. This would create that sharpness around the shoulders, so that would be really nice for gamine. And if you see a jacket similar to this with contrasting buttons, even just white buttons or brown buttons or something and a black jacket, you know, just go for that if you're a gamine. That's a really great way to still, you know, not look like you're trying to be the funnest person in the world, but look really quite chic and quite fresh as a gamine without going over the top as these contrasting buttons like here. But this one, I'd say the fit would work well for a soft gamine if you tie it around the waist and if it fits you really well. If it's that precision fitted effect, it would work pretty well for soft gamine or for a pure gamine as well. And style it just like this lady is doing with some sort of higher contrasting neckline to create some interest, with a small structured bag and with some tight skinny jeans, and that would look really, really fresh on you as a gamine or a soft gamine. So this would be good for a soft dramatic. So this is, you know, you can see that it has kind of a luxurious texture in a way. It's, you know, leather, and it also has a softer texture to it, so it'll sort of go with the curves and with the lines of your body, and then you can tie it. I wanted to say soft natural, but I feel like the texture of it just reads as a little bit too luxurious for soft natural, so I would say soft dramatic would be the best. This would be a good coat for soft dramatic. That would be who it would be best for. So I kind of want to just, this video is getting pretty long, so I'm just going to kind of talk through some random ones as I see them. So this would be good for a dramatic classic. Can't really see immediately who this would be good for. Maybe for a gamine, because it does have those things at the shoulders. Maybe soft gamine. Yeah, and it has a little bit of a crisper texture, and it has some contrast. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. It has some slightly contrasting buttons. This would be good for soft gamine. So this would be good for a romantic or theatrical romantic. I would say theatrical romantic, because look at all of these little gathers that it has here. This would be amazing for a theatrical romantic, and you can also have some sharp waist emphasis as well. So that would be kind of nice. I wish that the the sleeves were a bit more fitted. This would be good for a dramatic. I think that the lines are really long and crisp, and the fabric is quite stiff, so this would be good for a dramatic. And the geometric pattern is also really nice for a dramatic as well, and it's not too overstated or too animated. So it would be sort of a slightly fun or stylish jacket for a dramatic. So this, again, we talked about something similar to this. I would say this would be for soft dramatic. This would work well, I would actually say it would work well for a dramatic sort of, but this is primarily and definitely soft dramatic. You can see how luxurious the texture is. You can see how it would create that, you know, strong horizontal line at the shoulders. That would be amazing. And if you tie that belt and you sort of exaggerate your waist as a soft dramatic, that would look really, really amazing. And the long lines of it, and you can just see the long and sort of curved lines that it would create if you tie the belt. That would be amazing for soft dramatic. So this jacket would probably be good for a classic or a soft classic. This one for a dramatic. This also for a dramatic. I like the asymmetry. I like the longer lines. I would not say for a dramatic classic because it is asymmetrical. So this would be good for a dramatic. And I also like that it's minimal for a dramatic. So this would be good for soft dramatic, again, for the same reasons as some of the others, flamboyant natural, or flamboyant gamine. Look at this with this, let me look at this again. Ooh, I'm sorry, this would be good for flamboyant gamine, not flamboyant natural, because look at the sleeves on this. The sleeves are just slightly short. So if you're a flamboyant natural, this is basically your nemesis. Is if you're a flamboyant natural, a dramatic, a soft dramatic, first of all, you don't want these slightly short sleeves cutting off your lines. You want those long lines, right? And at the same time, it's also difficult to find sleeves that are the right length for you because you might have longer arms and legs. You might be quite tall if you're a dramatic or a flamboyant natural, but still, it doesn't matter. These are still your nemesis, these shorter sleeves. And look at the rounded short shapes that the sleeves create, and then the long line that the jacket creates, and then the contrasting belt. So this is flamboyant gamine. So this would be amazing for a dramatic classic. You can see that it has symmetry, it has clean lines, but it also has some understated geometrics. It would be perfect, absolutely perfect for a dramatic classic, especially a warm and delicate dramatic classic. If you're watching this, you should get this. You should get this trench coat. You should try it on first and make sure it looks good, but then you should get it. This $625 for this? Oh, Canada Goose, excuse me. Okay, so that's why. I would say this is for maybe flamboyant gamine with some pretty tight clothes, you know, for tight clothes underneath to create that mixture of opposites. Ooh, this is obviously for dramatic or for soft dramatic if it's belted. This is, I would say maybe for flamboyant gamine primarily. This would be good for a dramatic classic or for a pure classic. I really like this for a pure classic because it doesn't have any contrasting buttons. It's pretty minimal and it just symmetrical. So I like this for dramatic classic, or I'm sorry, for pure classic. Also for dramatic classic, it would work. If you are in love with this jacket and you are a gamine, you could try to make it work. It would just take some work because the buttons aren't contrasting and there isn't a lot of detail to it, but I like the little detailing at the shoulder and it looks like it has kind of a crisp fabric, so that could work. Oh, this would be for a romantic. So you can see how you can see how fitted it is on the model, and you can see that it has a luxurious texture and it would fit around the waistline really well, and it's kind of a little bit of a shorter jacket. It's not long and it doesn't have like long unconstructed curves to it. So this would be just amazing for a romantic. So if you are a romantic, what is this? This is the same in a different texture. Get it in this texture. I don't know what this is, but get it in this texture, this kind of luxurious texture, and it looks really sort of soft, and you can tie it around the waist and create those rounder, shorter lines. That would be amazing if you're a romantic. It would also work if you're a theatrical romantic too. So this would be good for probably a pure classic, a dramatic, a dramatic classic. That would be good for any of you guys. This, why does this jacket look wrinkled? This would be good probably for a, would work for a lot of types. I would say primarily flamboyant gamine because it's a little bit shorter, it has a little bit of a boxy shape, and it has the contrasting buttons. I love this jacket. I would say this is probably for a dramatic classic, and if you're in love with it, you could make it work as a gamine because it's so precision fitted. It's just so precision fitted. I know this jacket, so this is really, really nice, even for a gamine, because it is so fitted. So this is soft natural. A little bit unconstructed, some longer lines. If you're a romantic, definitely avoid this at all costs. Don't let this confuse you. This looks like it's soft, it has some curves to it, but these longer lines are just going to drown you. They might look sloppy on you, so just don't do this if you're a romantic. This is for soft natural. So this is for a classic or dramatic classic. This would be good for soft dramatic because it has, you see how it has some of those rounded shapes there at the hemline of it, I guess, so that would be good for soft dramatic. This is a really crazy jacket. Maybe the contrasting neckline makes it good for a gamine of some kind, but I would actually say it's primarily for a dramatic because it has those long clean lines and that texture. This is really good for a dramatic. It would also work for a dramatic classic, but I would really say by a landslide for a dramatic. I love those long, clean lines with the geometrics. So this would be good for a lot of types, but I would say probably for a flamboyant gamine because of the short boxy shape if you wear it without the belt. And then it could also actually work, I'm looking at it from behind now, it could work for a classic, it could work for a gamine, you know, a pure gamine or even a soft gamine with the waist emphasis. If you are a classic and you wear this, it's going to look quite fun and quite fresh on you. If you're a gamine and you wear this, it's going to look pretty serious on you. But I like that it's fitted enough. It's that precision fittedness, and it has these things at the shoulders to give some sharpness at the shoulders. So if it fits you really well, it could work for a gamine or a soft gamine or even a flamboyant gamine as well. Okay, so I think I will stop here, you guys. This is a super long video. I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed making it. Leave some comments down below on your thoughts. Of course, this wasn't sort of, you know, a long list of every single body type that these jackets could possibly be styled for. This is just to give you an idea of what to look for when you're looking for the lines. So I hope you enjoy it. Leave some comments, enjoyed it, past tense. Leave some comments down below. If you're still here, I really appreciate that. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I will talk to you next time. Check out the link to Miriam Style Club and see if you enjoy that. See if you want to join. We have a lot of fun there. We actually have memes there now, so that is really fun for me. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time, and thanks for watching.